Welcome everybody to the monthly meeting for NEBA. We appreciate all of you being here.
Thank you, Barney. As Barney said, I'm Steve Stewart. I'm the executive editor of Tallahassee Reports, a monthly newspaper. And here with me today is the publisher, my wife, Kathy Stewart. And I'd also like to introduce a reporter who's working with us today, Karen Murphy, who's sitting over here, who will be reporting on this event. Ms. Murphy, thank you for joining us. We're going to start at the far end with Mr. Hanna with the introductions. If you could come up here, give your 3 minutes, and we'll rotate with the questions after that. Thank you.
You ready, Ms. Monroe?
You should ask Ray that question.
Well, I'll go ahead and start while she's figuring it out. My name's Rocky Hanna. Can't tell you what an honor it is to be here. Born and raised in Tallahassee, Florida, third generation graduate of Leon High School. Shortly after graduation, I was commissioned officer in the United States Army in 1984. I was named commander of a local Army Reserve unit, military police unit, the 160th, in 1985. I received a bachelor degree in business administration from Georgia Southern and a master's in educational leadership and administration from Florida State University. I started with Leon County Schools in 1988 as a hall monitor at the very bottom of the organizational chart. Shortly thereafter, I became a teacher and a coach at Godby High School. I taught American Government Economics at Godby. I left Godby and went to Lincoln High School and ran a program for kids who are at risk of dropping out because of truancy issues, substance abuse, and neglect issues in the home. And then in 1997, returned to my alma mater, Leon, as a dean of students. I was a dean of students 4 years, an assistant principal for 4 years, and then realized a career dream in 2005 and became principal. I served in 2005 to 2012. Summer of 2012, some of you may have heard, I was moved out to the district office, and for the last several years have overseen our programs with the Department of Children and Families and the kids that have been involved with the Department of Juvenile Justice. I've had a wonderful career. I can't imagine doing anything different. I care deeply for our community and the kids and the future of our school system. As far as my platform is concerned, first and foremost is to eliminate wasteful spending. When I was the principal at Leon, I was always saying, we need more money, we need more money, we need more money in education. And then I get out in the district office and I look around and realize there's a lot of money. It's just being grossly mismanaged. And decisions are being made for political reasons instead of what's in the best interest of our children. And that's just wrong. And if I'm elected superintendent, that will immediately come to an end. Second, we have to address teacher autonomy and teacher morale. Teacher morale is at an all-time low. This was verified last week when I met with the head of the teachers union. A teacher's love of teaching directly impacts a child's love of learning. We have to get our teachers back. They have been beat on for long enough. They need someone, they need a leader that will stand up and protect them against federal mandates, state mandates, and then local constraints. We used to have a school system that was driven from the bottom up, where teachers led the way. They told the department heads what they needed to support their classroom, to meet the individual needs of their child. Now we have a top-down system, whether it's federal government, state government, and mandate after mandate from our local level. Finally, we have to address educating the whole child. Our children are more than just a test score. The purpose of a quality of education is to educate quality citizens, not better test takers. We have the highest crime rate in the state of Leon County. The way to get out of that and to change that is education. But we can't do it if we're too busy teaching to a test. Thank you very much.
The first thing I'd like to do is say thank you to NEBA for inviting us here today. I appreciate it very much, and I know all the other candidates do. I know all the candidates except one, and I respect the 3 men that are sitting here very much. I don't know Miss Sunday. I will get to know her, I'm sure, during the course of this campaign, but a lot of years with the other 3 gentlemen sitting at the table. My name is Woody Hildebrandt. 28 years serving students, faculty, and my community with Leon County Schools. My wife is here today, my beautiful wife, Joni. I'm glad she's here. Thank you, Joni. I went to Bill Mumford and I said, I'd been a high school person for a long time, and I said, I want to be an elementary principal. And Bill Mumford looked at me like I was crazy. He said, you're an old coach. I just don't think that'll work. But Joni and I waited 15 years to have children. I want to thank everybody here today that knows us and knows we lost a son on June the 16th. But anyway, thank you. And many of you was at our home that I see out across this group this morning. Experience that I have, and Rocky kind of went chronologically, but just let me talk about my experience for a minute. First, I've got 2 degrees from Florida State University, degree in education, a degree in ed leadership. My experience with Lee County Schools, I spent 6 years at the elementary level. Bill Mumford let me go to the elementary level. I was at Canopy Oaks, and I was principal of W.T. Moore. At the secondary level, high school level, I was a coach, teacher, dean of students at Rickard's High School. If you can imagine that, a 5'7", 155-pound, 60-pound man being dean of students at Rickard's, but I never had greater joy in my life than spending time with 98% of the students that are there are wonderful people, and they appreciate everything that you do for them. I worked my way up at Rickard's High School. I became AP, assistant principal over curriculum. I was at Godby, the head coach. I was coach of the year. My good friend Jackie Pond's been coach of the year a time or 2. I tried to help him win a state championship, and he finally won one. I'd moved on at that time, but I think he would give me a little credit for helping with that. I coached at Godby. I was a teacher and a guidance counselor and an occupational specialist, and really enjoyed every minute of it. My last 10 years I spent at Lively Technical Center. What a joy. What a joy to see people come in that are down on their knees, down on their luck, no job when we were going through this recession, and you see them leave. And I had a student come in and he said, "Mr. Hillebrand, I finished welding here 2 years ago." He said, "I made $100,000 last year. This school changed my life." I stand before you with unique qualifications to offer as superintendent and unique circumstances surrounding my candidacy. First, the circumstances. 3 years ago, I turned FBI informant and whistleblower against our current superintendent, Jackie Pons.
Mr. Hillebrand, your
Time.
time is up.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, NEBA, for having me today. I'm Jackie Pons. I'm your superintendent. I have 35 years of elected experience. The last 10 years, I've been your superintendent of schools. We've had 20 years of educational experience between myself and Bill Mumford to run the school district. Currently, Leon County Schools is ranked an A district by the Department of Education. We're also ranked by DOE as a high-performing school district, the highest ranking we could have. We're currently ranked the #1 minority-majority school district in the state of Florida. So this shows that we have the best teachers in the state of Florida right here in our system, and we're performing at one of the highest levels. Graduation rates have been raised almost 10 points over the last few years. We're currently 10 points above the state average with our current graduation rates. African American graduation rates are up 25 points over the past 3 to 5 years, ranking us one of the top graduating classes in the entire state of Florida. When we lost $111 million over the past 10 years in revenue from the state, while I've been superintendent, we didn't lose one teaching position because our teachers are what's kept this district strong, safe, and high performing. I've personally helped recruit over 1,000 mentors every year into our system. I encourage each of every one of you to be a mentor, be a volunteer to support our system. We brought back the 7th period day over the past 10 years, so kids now have more choices. We talked about how we have such a high crime rate. Think about what this school system has meant to this community over the past 10 years. The fact that we've kept it so strong, so safe, and so high performing. We converted our buses from diesel to CNG to protect the environment. They're clean, more efficient, and even our students now want to be on the CNG buses as we move them through our community. We currently now have more teachers that are involved in professional development than we've ever had. So what I would say to you today, I have a record of 10 years of accomplishments, which you have given me the opportunity to serve this district. I have fought on the statewide level to stop the over-testing of our students, to make sure that we remember that what makes children get up and want to come to school every day. Most school districts cut art, music, and P from their elementary schools, physical education. While I've been superintendent, I've refused to do this because that's why kids get up and come to school every day, is their love of the fine arts programs. I'm asking you to re-elect me one more time so we can continue to have one of the highest performing school districts in the state of Florida. I thank you for your consideration, and it's an honor to be here today, and I think we should provide respect for every candidate that runs for office. Thank you very much.
I'm Patricia Ann Sunday, a former elected community member of the Leon County School Board under my previous married name of Kuiper. I am retired from the state of Florida, and I am an ordained minister and began my own ministry in 1995 and am the author of 4 books. I am the mother of 6 children and 14 grandchildren. I am almost 69 years old. This is the 3rd time I've run for this office, and I keep being reminded of that. You may think that anyone that tries that so many times with the same results is just nuts. Well, call me a nut. I'm nutty about our children and what I see happening in the dumbing down of our American kids. In Sunday's newspaper, the reporter seemed to think that only 2 of my opponents has a chance at winning because, 1, they have more money. It is true you need money, and I'll take any of your money you want to give me today. But for signs and advertising and such. But however, since when should money be run the gamut of qualifications for a school superintendent or any other position for that matter? Shouldn't we be more concerned about the person who's running than how much money they can gather, fundraise? I look over here and I see these 4 men, all handsome of their variety, who think they should have this job, okay? Each of them has have been connected with the Leon County school system for the past 20, 28, 40 years, right? And yet, what outcome do we have? Is it any better? Who has stood up for the children? No one! No one has stood up for these children. All right, might one wonder, perhaps you might need an outsider, a woman, a mother, a grandmother, a single mother at one time, and someone who's not been around the block a few times. A new outside perspective could create a new journey for our children, for the schools, and once again learn to say the Pledge of Allegiance and give respect to our country. And once again be able to do cursive writing where they could learn to read the Declaration of Independence. And once again where they could learn to read and spell and get back to basics with less stress and testing and more actual learning. Common Core goodbye, saying no child left behind has left many children behind. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the opportunity. It's not my first time coming before you, but I'd like to take the 3 minutes that we have to really get to the bottom line. I'm the oldest of this group. I turned 70 in September. I remember all of them when they were in high school. I had the pleasure of working with Reverend Sunday when she was on the board in the 80s, and we went through some great times together then also. But in 3 minutes, just let me get to the bottom line. One of the reasons I got back in this race is because I have the right experience. I graduated Florida State in math and physics education. My master's work was at Georgia State University in Educational Administration Supervision. I started teaching in 1969. It was 1978 when I came to Leon County Schools. And I worked in the Leon County Schools from 1978 until 2006. I put 36 years in. There's not a single department in Leon County Schools that I have been part of developing, working in. Been the pleasure of supervising, helping hire the folks. So my entire history has been in developing this school district, which is a great school district. I retired in I was on the board, of course, for 6 years, many 2 terms. I retired in 2014. The last 2 years, I've been developing my skills as the best granddaddy in the world with my grandkids. I've been volunteering at Roberts Elementary School, working with 4 and 5-year-olds to try to get them to speak and to also control their behavior. So that's what I've been doing over the 2 years. But here, when this race began, I got really worried about the school district that I helped build. I got worried about what's happening in our nation, what's happening in our state, because I have the right experience to get us where we need to go. Now I want to tell you why I'm the right choice. And there's a thing on your table to let you know why I'm the right choice. And the minute I have left, I want to just hit the bottom line. Maybe with the questions, I'll get a chance to speak more on these. But my promise is that we're going to provide a safe and secure environment for all students. That's the most important thing in the school district, is that our kids are safe. I'm going to return Leon County Schools back to the basics academically and financially, and I know how to do that. I'm going to empower principals and school staff to make decisions at the local level. Our teachers deserve that. I'm going to remove Common Core from the Leon County School District. I'm going to accommodate the use of bathroom shower facilities based on gender at birth, with special accommodation for those that need special accommodations. I'm going to make sure I hire the best teachers and return the classroom to them. And I'm going to listen to parents and community leaders when making these decisions. If you'll watch my Facebook, my website, over the next few weeks, I'm going to have a video that's going to tell you exactly how I'm going to do each of these things. Thank you for this opportunity.
Position on the proposal to build a new high school and its possible location.
Certainly, I'm happy that anytime we could build a new school. But if you look at what Leon County voters wanted when we approved the half-cent sales tax, the new school on a listing of 1 to 6 was 6. I don't know where Superintendent Pons is going to find the money to build the school unless he takes it from other school projects. That concerns me greatly. Now, do I want a new school on the south side? Absolutely. I stayed on the south side, was at Rickards High School for an awful long time. We need a new school. Fairview is falling apart. We need a new school. Pace, we threw a few new portables in there a couple of years ago and put some walkways there. We need a new school. We need to talk. We need to come together as a community and figure out a way to get this done. The funding is my major concern on that, and but I think we can get it done as a community. There's no doubt that it's needed.
We'll go this way, Rocky.
Do I now?
Yeah, go this way.
All right.
Thank you. I'm on the record supporting the new Southside High School. We currently have plans not to walk away from any current facilities that we have. Fairview Middle School would move into the Rickards facility, being the largest, probably one of the largest middle schools we'd have, some of the best facilities that we possibly have. Then we would build the brand new Southside High School. We currently have Pace, which is Pace for Girls, with almost 35, 40 portables up there. We need to get kids out of portables. One of my goals has been to move all the children out of portables. So I certainly support this. How we would pay for it is we currently have bonding capacity to bond it, to pay for it. In the half-penny sales tax that we took to the voters that you helped us with, we had in there the site work for the high school. Don't hold me to it, but it's multi-millions of dollars, probably somewhere between 10 and 15 million or for that, but I'll get the correct figure, and then the rest of it would be bonded. So I'm totally on the record. It's one of the best things we can do for the south side of town. Also, this school would have state-of-the-art technology so we can prepare our students for the future that they would live in. Thank you.
This Sunday. Yeah.
Right.
This Sunday.
No, Miss Sunday, I'm sorry.
Pass it to your right.
Right. It takes us a while. We're figuring it out.
Well, I currently and always have lived on the south side of Tallahassee, and I have always wanted a new school. And I would propose that we would put it at current fairgrounds, and that Rickards would then receive Fairview, as Mr. Pons has stated, and the money would come from the bonds. Thank you.
Well, the location of the building of schools is something that I've been involved in my history with Leon County Schools. My first school I was involved in helping decide was Corin Lakes Elementary. And you remember how long ago that was. So every school since then. Certainly, when you build a new school And south side, we have property there, and certainly a location that would be considered for a new school. One of the things when you're deciding, particularly at the high school level, you've got to do is that it's on capacity. The Department of Education looks at the number of kids that you have, and they tell you how many schools you actually have if you have the student stations. We have enough seats right now for the schools, but some are understaffed, fewer students and others have got more. If we look at a new high school to be built on the south side, one of the things we may want to do is look at the function of our high school. We're well overdue for a comprehensive vocational high school. So we build a new school there, we ought to take what's going into it, because we may be able to offer opportunity for kids that are out of school now that are currently over capacity.
Can I go now, Steve? Yeah. Thank God for the Department of Education. They stepped in and said no. This was a decision that was being made, in my eyes, for political reasons instead of what's in the best interest of our kids and our community. We have put $25 million into Rickards High School since 2008. Tram Road. Have you been to Tram Road lately? Even the people at Rickards High School do not want a new school on Tram Road. They are proud of the traditions they have at their school. If the numbers dictate that we need a new high school, I will support it wholeheartedly. But in this case, they don't. Rickards is at 70% capacity. 70%. Yet we want to spend $60 million, strap our community with a $60 million tab to build a new high school for political reasons instead of what's best. We're about to open up Wilani Plantation. Montfort Middle School and Roberts Elementary School are busting at the seams already. We better start paying attention to where the kids are, where the growth is, instead of trying to get votes politically.
On how construction contracts have been awarded, i.e. an FBI investigation, press coverage, 40 to 50 stories. What do you see as right or wrong about how construction contracts have been awarded?
I can't speak to how they've been awarded. I can only speak to what I would do. And what I would do would have an independent committee to look over contracts and give me their recommendation rather than doing it myself. Okay?
It's such a hot topic these days. Construction contracts and the way they're awarded in the Leon County School Board is the superintendent and his staff does the bidding, they do all the preparation work, the architectural work, everything goes into that, and it comes to the board for approval before anything is put out to bid. That process took some flaws, and we did an investigation of this, and the results of that investigation are made public. It's called the Hancock's Report. As a result of that, some of the deficiencies that were corrected were, since 2014, there's new processes in place, there's new processes which go to the board. It's been taken off the consent agenda and put on the consideration agenda, and they hired one of the best persons in the state of Florida to run construction. So a number of improvements have been made so that we don't go back to where there was improper paperwork, lack of accounting, or lack of leadership. That won't ever happen again in Leon County Schools.
Construction, non-bidded construction projects were handed out in return for political donations and campaigns. No doubt. I was given information several years ago that led me straight to it. I had a decision to make. Either I walk away or I do what I think's right. And I did. I handed that information over to the federal government. They've been investigating this now for the last 2 years. As a result, whether someone gets charged with a crime or not, I don't care anymore. Last summer, Leon County School Board, as Mr. Van Camp alluded to, passed 11 new construction policies and practices. They rewrote the manual on how to do things the right way. So at the end of the day, when I go to bed at night, whether you want to condemn me for what I did by turning whistleblower and doing what I thought was right and giving information to the federal government, we've changed our ways. We're doing right by our taxpayers. We're doing right by our teachers, and most importantly, we're doing right by our students.
I'm the man you can look at and say is responsible for cleaning up construction and facilities in Leon County. I was the guy that Jackie Pons called and said, let's take $6, $8, $10 million contracts and let's give them out in 1.999. I discovered illegal activity that included overspending on vendor contracts, paying contractors for substandard work, and found multi-million dollar contracts purposely excluded for political reasons. Ladies and gentlemen, in many years, nothing has been bid and nothing has been selected appropriately. Jackie Pons called and said, give this to contractor X, Y, and Z. Woody Hildebrandt and Barbara Wills were the people that made those telephone calls. He wants to tell people that he wants to get out of portables, have sales tax passed. It's sat there for 8 or 10 months. He didn't try to do anything.
First, I want to make sure I'm real clear on this. Every one of those projects was not only bid, they were bid in the Tallahassee Democrat. So all you have to do is call and you can get a history of that. This has been said over and over again. 2 individuals running for office put together a notebook full of wild allegations against me and my family. They said things that I bought property to go hunting on. It was in there that I got a DUI fix. All these type of wild allegations I've had to deal with for 3 years. They're not true. I've never been interviewed by anybody for any wrongdoing while I've served as your superintendent. And I want you to think about this because this is the core of this issue. 2 individuals get together, they put forth a notebook. 40 stories are written on it. And where are we today? False allegations, and they're both running for superintendent. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to start with candidate Hannah. Candidate Hannah, some people have been critical of the way you have remained a high-paid employee of the school board and at the same time was part of a concerted effort to reveal information that accused Mr. Pons and other officials of possible criminal behavior. These people say this approach hurt the school district and that you had other options. How would you respond to these critics?
I don't think someone should have to resign and quit their job if they see wrongdoing in the workplace or what they perceive to be wrongdoing in the workplace. And I did just that. I've been with our school system since I was 24 years old. I didn't dream this stuff up. I didn't make anything up. I was given information that led me to believe that there was something wrong, that something going on that was potentially illegal, and if not illegal, certainly unethical. And I had a decision to make. Either throw it in the garbage can and walk away or do something about it. But should I forfeit everything that I've worked for over the last 28 years because I want to do the right thing to protect the school system that I care so deeply about? No, I'm sorry, I disagree. I did what I thought was right. And at the end of the day, again, I say we've changed our practices. I'm proud of the accomplishments and what we've done. We are now doing things the right way, and I'm very proud of that.
Mr. Hildebrandt, you are scheduled to stand trial on October 31st. What do you say to voters who are concerned about this event impacting your ability to conduct a viable campaign?
I say Jackie Pons was damn afraid. Let me tell you what, Woody Hildebrandt has never stolen anything from Lynn County Schools, from Lively Technical Center, or anybody. If I owe you $1, I'll give you $2 back. Jackie Pons collaborated with teachers at my school that had given me some gifts, a gate to a pastor, a couple other things that were great friends of mine. I eat breakfast with them, we go to lunch together. I don't think it's going to have an impact on my campaign at all because anybody that knows Woody Hildebrandt knows I'm as honest as the day is long. And this is totally contrived by Jackie Pons to ruin me, to ruin my bad name, because I told him I was going to run against him and beat his ass. And that's what I meant. And I don't mean to use bad language, but that's where we are. Thank you.
I like this better than running for office, I really do. Okay, the next question will go to Superintendent Pons. Superintendent Pons, a practice that is in place at the school board, which I want to note is legal and used with other government institutions, has resulted in a number of high-ranking employees retiring, then becoming employed at the school board through a temporary agency for 6 months and then rehired at the school board. Critics say that this is a way that an official or you can reward friends that does not give others the opportunity for professional development. How would you respond to this assessment?
I think it's fair criticism because what we do is we bring individuals back with the experience that's needed for specific jobs. And I can tell you right now, Mr. Van Camp touched on it earlier, somebody that has his type of experience is very important. And especially you're dealing with certain areas as retirement goes on. Now the other side of that coin is people say you're not preparing young blood, getting them in there. But as the superintendent of schools, this is a massive budget that you have, a big opportunity to make sure that, like they said, things are done right. And you've got to hire the best individuals that you can. You want to have the best talent that you can. There's a reason why we're the #1 school system in the state of Florida. There's a reason why that happens. We have great teachers, the best teachers in the state, but we also have employees that we've brought in that have made this system the #1 majority-minority system in the state. And I'm very proud to have been your superintendent over the past 10 years.
Ms. Sunday, you alluded to this earlier. This is a question we had already drafted, and I'll give you a chance to respond again. Ms. Sunday, according to the Supervisor of Election Records, you've been in this race formally since January, and you've raised $680. How can you assure people who may consider voting for you that you will have the resources to run a legitimate campaign?
Well, I think that's what they call a grassroots campaign. It's called going to people that you meet daily and going up and saying, hello, who I am.
You know, direct quote in the Democrat, I believe your comment and reason for running was to stop the inexperienced showboat from becoming superintendent of schools. We talk about me and my employment, my job. On June the 1st, after 28 years with our school system and 2 years short of retirement, I resigned. I gave up $100,000 a year salary because I care deeply for our school system and our kids and our teachers. And Christy, I can't thank you enough for standing beside me every step of the way. I love you. Not many other women would have the courage to do that. You talk about a grassroots campaign. We should be the poster child for grassroots. My 75-year-old parents, retired teachers and administrators that have been walking neighborhoods with us, we are what grassroots is all about. We raised over $200,000 in the last 10 months. Those donors are doing it because they believe in our community and they want better. They aren't looking for some lucrative non-bidding contract with our school system. They aren't looking for a job with our school system. They're doing it because they're ready for a change. They're ready for something different. I've walked many neighborhoods and I've gone to many different churches. Whether I'm walking in a predominantly white neighborhood in Benton Hills or I'm visiting a black church on the south side of town, I hear the same thing again and again and again. Quite simply, it's time for a change. We have a good school system, don't get me wrong. And Leon High School was a very good school before I became principal. But during my time there, I feel as though I was able to make it just a little bit better. I know I can do the same thing with our school system as a whole, as superintendent. I'm risking everything. There's no fallback plan. I'm all in. For those of you who don't know me, I ask one simple thing. Talk to someone who does. Ask a teacher or a parent or any of the thousands of kids I've worked with over the last 28 years what they have to say about me before you cast your vote. There you will find the truth. Thank you so much for having me.
Again, I want to say thank you to NEBA for having us here today. I appreciate it very much. 10 years of Jackie Pons is enough. No bidding or proper selection of process has taken place for many years. Splitting of bids to political supporters. Failed audits. 23 checked, 21 failed. Lawsuits hidden. How many have we got? I know of a bunch. How much money have we paid out? False standardized test results. Godby, example. You read about it in the paper. Every student in Godby, an honor student in social studies, you got to be kidding me. Playground bullying. When Mr. Pons called me in and took the job away as divisional director of facilities, he suspended me for 3 days. And you know what he said? He said, "You're just like Rocky Hanna and Glenn Graham. You're mentally disturbed." Well, I don't think Rocky Hannah's mentally disturbed, and I don't think Gwen Graham's mentally disturbed. High school for votes. I want a high school on the south side, but I want what's right for every student in this county. And I don't want Jackie Pons to take money away from other schools to build a south side high school when other things could be done and things that this community can work out. Teachers not certified. I heard him say in the paper the other day that every teacher in this county is certified. Well, I'm going to give you a perfect example. He called me and his wife to his office, and he wanted to certify his daughter. His daughter's got a degree in leisure services. You know what she's doing? She's teaching academic classes now. She's not certified, Mr. Pons. Brother Joe Pons, sexual misconduct with teachers and verbal abuse. Speak with David Burrell, the head of Lane County Schools. You want 4 more years of Jackie Pons? I don't think so. Thank you very much.
Well, again, NEBA, thank you for having me today. Thank you for providing this forum. I'll leave you with it. We've got one of the best school systems in the entire state of Florida. I think you get a little taste of what my last 3 years have been like. And I want you to just think about it. You're in the business world, you run a business. 2 of your own employees wake up one day and they start having secret meetings to put together a notebook about you and bring back all this information that Steve Stewart looked into every one of them. And guess what he found? They weren't true. It's been an honor to serve as your superintendent. I've got up every day and done this job, even under the most difficult, wild allegations of 2 individuals running for superintendent. And I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going out on my terms, and I'm going to continue to make sure that we have one of the best school districts in the state of Florida, right here in Leon County. And thank you for having me today.
Well, I want to thank NEBA also for having us today. I think we've all been thoroughly entertained. We can see that there's a lot of infighting going on here. And my question is, where were all these people when I ran against Jackie Pons one time and Munford the other time, and when they all beat me in a landslide? You know, so here I am once again, trying to do what I think is best, and I ask for your vote, I ask for your support, and just, you know, pray about all this, because prayer is the only thing that's going to save this county at the rate that we're going. Thank you.
I love this school district. I spent my life here along with my lovely wife Barbara, a retired principal, and it hurts me to see what's happening. Not only here, we've had a taste of this for now the last few years, but there's got to be a healing come over this school district. And it's going to take someone that has experience, someone that's going to have the patience, and someone that's going to have to make some tough calls. And that's been the role of many granddaddies. I turned 70 September the 15th. I'm more of a professional granddaddy than I am an educator. But I can tell you, some of the things we've heard here today, and these 3 young men that have talked up here, you know, they need to listen to granddaddy a little bit. This is not good for our district. It's like settling a dispute between your kids and that. They look for granddaddy for wisdom and for an example. And that is exactly what I want to do for the next 4 years as your superintendent. I'll bring some healing over this district. I'm probably not going to be very well liked, and I'll tell you that, because there's some people that have got to go. 90% of the people in Leon County schools are doing 100% of the work. We need to look at those 10%. And the beauty is, I know who they are and where they work, because I've been there with them. But for this community to continue, we've got so much to do and so many hard times to go through. We're going to get a new president one way, who you like or you don't like. We're going to have changes in the state government. We've got a testing system that's killing teachers.
Yeah.
Teachers are leaving at the end of 6 years. They can't take it anymore. Why? Because they cannot meet a kid with their individual needs like the school district did for all of us. We've got to take our district, turn it back to where kids are the main focus, and our teachers can treat a kid for what they need when they get there, not by test or by driven down curriculum. Thank you very much, and look forward to working with you.
Okay, all right, so two final things. If you're a NEBA member, you'll get a ballot like this. Please remember to fill it out, and we'll be collecting them. Tom? Yep, Tom will collect them. Catherine will collect them. Will? Okay, so if you're a NEBA member, just see Catherine and she'll collect them. Also, if you want to join NEBA PAC, we've got little slips, applications up here so that you can join and you can help us deciding our endorsements and how much money we're going to give to candidates. There's applications for membership outside the front. It's now 1 o'clock. Thank you very much for being here. We'll see you next month.